Hello, y'all. Mind waits to sing a love song that whispers Nashville, Tennessee. And time takes my hearts more than anyone's sustained belief. I'll blame it on the wrong things and just be. Glorified something of the free. I wrote this song to Nashville, Tennessee. Everybody's in a trap and they blame the wrong thing, G. Yeah. Everyone blaming the wrong thing. As planned. By the colonization mean that worse than the colonization method. Colonization itself set up as a value. Have everyone effectively blame other things, others, themselves, and their value. Yeah. The church divided. Each nation lay on their fake sides. State scenarios, the identity of the ground is valued, having been slandered, worse than slandered by the identities of the law. Each age of fact, treatment, nature, we're in a trap. Now, almost trap. This is a method effectively maintained all. Each person in each individual group dash sexes and the species nature of volume. When we're careful of the nature of volume simultaneously, it's a course of evolution. When we do it simultaneously, we know we're doing it right because it's in that order. Yeah. And again, behind we are a nature of volume. And behind this nature's nature is an identity as value. Yallah. The beginning of the Quran warns against Muslims who are going to say they are Muslims always, but who are not Muslims. And if one of these recorded that the fake sides fighting against each other are only maintaining roles with titles, exploiting databases here and there, fake sides, motivations other, with the uses of each age of fact, treatment, nature, effectively maintained. Victims forced to value fake sides of correlation nature. Misprision rolls with that. Fake care. Criminally influenced uses of the course by passions and emotions. Where they are value, also value. Positive unto itself. We are gaining nature of volume as a quality of diffusion, positive or negative, in relationship to the identity of positive's course per science actual, which is the Trinity. Yeah. Listen to a video recently by Muslim Red Bull. Motivational video I watched recently of The Rock. I watched one of them. This is what correct The Rock. Your back is against the wall. You don't even realize it. Anthony Wall. YouTube.com/user/Romulus Wall. will hear you all admit you're glorifying it, the value of freedom, something other than freedom, and missing how all valued blaming the real cause needed to. Each age of fact, tribunation was left forsaken in a very subtle organized crime method that is recorded tied to individuals, families, and their extended families, facilitated with a method of crime where they are victim predators, but overt predators through time. With the Justice Department, Washington Justice Department Trade Center tied to all areas with shared policing, shared relationships to natures of organized crime associated with needs by the defensive natures of industry that you can't defend and simultaneously pretend that the surface of our Constitution wasn't left abridged per already entrenched breaching organized crime method. Free speech. Now one must teach. Each campus I went to, people that weren't even in my class pretended other behind my back to people I would never meet because they're using all kinds of means to keep consolidated, valued, force grouped each age of fact treatment nature, each individual group / sex, and together our maintain states roles in nature, states and areas in collusion with other nations. With and as legal nature, original, and still victim predators blaming other things, others themselves for their roles. Maintained as, the Santa Claus, St. Nicholas is about this, about misprision criminality, a database crime that witch trials are about. Is the identity of the grounds, value, theft, and then all rules valuing it as the value of campuses, all victim predators really what is needed to be addressed. See, we have offensive evidence reception predators as victim predators. And now see, then they pretend people don't have good evidences because they're in the background lying about evidences and relying upon databases maintained effectively, motivated through in layers as what is really furthering the overt criminal enterprises and uses of them as what is hurting the members of them, all kinds of ways, and fake care for them simultaneously, and keeping them in streams into prisons, keeping them blamed on other causes, recorded, and all others, like money. They can't pretend the convictions they do in the background in front of people, and they all agree about that. They don't understand the causes of it because each campus lies. Each state and area, each age of fact treatment nature, intercampuses, internatures of campuses, inter-database relationships, victim predators, especially all the internation, all the types of industries that are going to be connected to markets, which we can't let go of. This is what reality, quality of free speech pretended because you're at the end of the whip. You're at the end of the you're in that range of slavery from our founders and everyone else. Slaves, fact treatment nature slaves, where free speech is valued, our nature. Time, all too fast, too slow. Each legal identity, interbranch, individually grouped and together. It means all kind of police forms, grouped like FBI, CIA. They do their jobs. See, these are good people calling other people bad that they don't even know. So then it's hard to call them good, not by accident. You see what I'm saying? Because there is another method, natures of organized crime that has a whole bunch of liars bonded, originally and still. And originally and still, not by accident, having had that value and valuing it having has been valued, because they're still effectively maintained criminally foreign influence states and areas, opinion natures, evidence reception bodies, formal. Preventing free speech is simultaneously inherent, active, and progressive means. One way redeems. So when someone responds, one of the problems that people don't know how to respond to are how interbranch actors are and have been using the rights to lie, and how they are motivated to roles with child offenders, elderly offenders, and within as the same groups propagated crimes with pretended credibility to vetting, interbranch offensive, with the time, these are how they're victim predators themselves, because they only have so much time, but they also are juxtaposed with lies and knowing the evidence reception, forging names, switching names interbranch, switching names, then using the time to attach people to fake comprehensions, fake words. They are with chemical crimes, gun crimes, interbranch. They're preventing mandated law by the forging names and switching names, switching sequences, torture methods attaching me and my family members to fake ties to other people, even little kids. This is with campuses proven with child offenders forced as their leaders, and they're still forcing it for how the police chief's family and for how retired and standing detectives and military families, foreign and domestic, like with the Dillon family, are criminally involved with my new and past neighbors, extended family members, with the extended family members of a Phil Cololo, also further recorded, confessed, and involved. These are drug cliques with their kids used also as crimes with forensics cliques and with the prisons and with the doctors, foreign and domestic, associated with that. We share policing, fake sites here, there, sick with psychology. Many nations crimes with it. There's a Leahy family recorded with various natures of courts criminally involved with all natures of crime, even predicate acts. And these are crimes also with the children of and other kids that were in my grades growing up, that they then facilitated the crimes on off Trinity College, on off CCFCU, and through time. And that was used for crimes with evidence perception leading up to the roles with the natures of identity theft missed originally and still, leading of the value of whole areas, let alone leading up to a 2006 case with the defendant, former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, in a district court case in Connecticut, which that part of the case /S came up tied to a proven sequence, after it. That was in 2006. Proven after the Trade Center attack. Inside the Trade Center attack context, post-dated documents from inside the Ninth Circuit in the Trade Center attack context in Manhattan. This is also tied to Washington rackets, tied to the Trade Center to intercampuses. It maintains manifest what it can exploit because it has all jobs, perfect world racket nature roles, valuing that. In other words, in conjunction with brings into all they brought into it, like vetting and things like that. They're acting because that acting is demonstrated. So it's not really an honest test. In other words, these are courts and interbranch actors. So when you say something about other people, because they're making problems with the people, those people are making the problems because they're the branches themselves and the people with the areas and the campuses are distinctly and non-distinctly criminally foreign influenced by what is right through each of the overt criminal enterprises. Why do you think they're all thematic? The same criminally foreign influence, fact-cheating nature with physical delusions, sequence shifts, misinformation, and all that in relationship to databases originally still uncharged, unrealized, because we have associated with our founders' real American history left for us, because we have other glorified, not by accident, because we have criminal insidious nature in with perception of fact treatment nature, interbranch originally still. They have needs to pretend to hide their own natures from correlation natures simultaneously inherent active and progressive means. They have been seeding databases with crimes, attaching, in other words, illusions, attaching people to fake relationships to other sequences. This is specifically as ones they could exploit. They have been slandering people, interbranch drug cliques, all natures of drug crimes, formal and other. And these are drug cliques with, like a Leahy family, involved with the New Britain Superior, many with New Britain Superior Court, criminally evolved through time. Crime acts rolls with databases, with my name identity thefts, coaching kids to fake care and to fake passions and evil justice, insidiousness nature, valued roles, forced, criminally forced, acted. They're actors using pretending they have legitimate means. In other words, I never had a conversation with Brian Silver, but he's also one of the ones recorded and confessed involved with John Mayam and with other women like Christine Bedard in a Kerr family. And then they use like KNER spellings of the with the Kerr family and a bunch of Joe DeMoros and John DeMoro and Jerry Kerr's with the Mike Kerr together, crimes with these Mendez brothers, with pretending things recorded by police, crimes with the police chief's family, interbranch family with their kids, slandering me, pretending because they were raised with crimes with various police forms and overt federal criminals since before they were proven, and with their family members that were crimes with kids with databases in my school. And that was also juxtaposed with the people that didn't go to my school that lived near the schools, involved with the identity theft crime acts with them, and criminal uses of the town offices, of elections, of opinion natures, where they pretend that the branches have the integrity to solve issues, but they're preventing mandated law because they're forging names and switching names because they stuck themselves with those fake opinions and fake opinion natures now. So now needing to hide from my correlation nature simultaneously inherent active and progressive means. And this we're all going to have together, because you're not going to understand my experience. So because we all have this nature that is capable of understanding this, which our American history is about, an organized crime method. We're going to examine how this is in relationship to the identity that inventions work or are not in relationship to. So it's invisible but still discernible. And inventions are further positive or negative in relationship to this identity or not, as our value. As Earth's simultaneously distinct and non-distinct value in relationship to the rest of space. This devalued by our little species of the Earth as the Earth's value. Since semi-ancient times, Leaf of Hadith. This just reminds we fly through space and value this from all disgrace. These are not means, one way redeems. Ancient gaming system. Please tell your dad and mom.com. So the entire species would value understanding what I'm trying to say. You have to be, it takes response. In other words, they're not going to get. In other words, courts that are sick already, criminally involved with all offensive evidence reception. Note how color, One of the things it was is always. More than racism, no, which is important. Besides identity theft, with uses of color that are wrong, what the hell was I talking? In other words, we use what is true always and true as all exceptions, not denying any exceptions. And this identity, this is the identity the sciences work in relationship to or not. This is the identity that inventions are further positive or negative to or not. This is the identity that is simultaneously value as nature and nature as value distinctly and non-distinctly. 3 ways, 5 ways. In other words, distinctly and non-distinctly to each part of the Trinity, which is also about how we are. In other words, Jesus Christ He is the Alpha and He is the Omega. And He draws the Alpha as the A on the left side of His head, on art with Jesus Christ with a halo behind His head lit, and the A on the left. And on His right side is 2 capital V's together as a W. Because both Alpha and Omega are constantly either positive or negative as a quality of diffusion, as the value of temporary / lasting space nature, what life is, whereas a forever nature, and for its nature of relationship to itself. And that's nature's nature. Nature's value relationship to the perfect value progression. So the cell nucleus of a cell, its nature, and its nature's nature as the cell body, and its nature's nature as the cell wall. That's a complete identity. And that is further an unceasingly valuable semi-nature relationship to our complete identity, to the complete identity of a cell that maybe of an organ maybe it makes as part of, or of a body part. Each complete identity is a semi-nature to identity's hierarchy, which is its complete nature's relationship to itself that will only stay complete nature. And the only semi-nature that is always positive onto itself and as exceptions, as all exceptions, is identity nature. In other words, we'll examine this. So each science fails to have that, not by accident, to have that maintained value from off the ground of education. Then only let realize natures of difference, which education is as value, positive or negative. See, we have the kids being coached, also with WFSB, retired and standing sources, in collusion with the courts, stealing people's identities, faking recorded things into databases, in collusion with people doing that on campuses in ways that motivate and maintain insidious hurt and fake care and fake integrity, value, criminal seditious natures, theater natures, as the value of each age. And this, is making problems that are maintained, valued by the breaching method, because it uses that to keep all blaming other things, others themselves, and in relationship to each position of time, and exploited forever nature, where time is being used too fast and too slow by all formal, fake integrity nature, Integrity nature is forever nature. What is true always, it has all exceptions, not denying exceptions. So we're going to need to have free speech. And it is recorded. We're going to need to demonstrate how it is recorded, how the victims of Sandy Hook and how the victims like these young, like this Dylan Roof, recorded and involved with crimes with Sandy Hook and with Trade Center investigators, and leading up to, and in those contexts, already having had criminal uses, even of words and value, of all values, like education. These are originally and still are interbranch identities of the law that can't defend themselves because they're fake integrity nature. They can't, they're as victims. See, this is where forgiveness is about. This is about equality of fact, human nature, by and as the value of the law, as nature and as its nature of nature, as its nature of relationship to itself, as its identity of relationship to itself that's going to be positive or negative. Now, Allah's name is used to teach this with God, with the concept of God, three natures of it. This is algebraic consciousness, what I believe the ancients probably called it. And this is also about how and why the 26 sounds of English that go together, and they have an identity of relationship to itself that demonstrates it, why they aren't the only sounds. Why and how this is about, is with other things in demonstration of a nature of prayer that is not of faith, but it is trying to be positive onto what is as the identity that it is the order of the finite. That means the smallest parts of our body. What is positive onto itself or negative onto itself as what is beyond our control. So we all need water overall, finite, and actively and progressively. We need clean water. That's valued to all, but it's not valued by all, not by accident. And this is where and how our fact-treated nature is valued to the system that causes positive or negative value nature progressions. Our fact-treated nature is a nature of volume that is three natures of volume that are invisible but discernible. As it is simultaneously five natures of volume, semi-natures. As the Trinity is inherent, active, and is progressive, bonded semi-natures of one identity, of value progression, that generated matter to its distinct relationship to itself, individually grouped and all together as value progressions in relationship to this perfect value progression. Value is nature. Everything else is value nature, with a value/value nature relationship to itself. Simultaneously, distinctly and non-distinctly. Nature is value and value is nature. And that simultaneously, distinctly and non-distinctly onto the inherent part of nature of value, onto our active nature of volume, onto our progressive nature of volume's value, as value, and as what causes it to be further positive or negative. And as the gain of evolution's fruits and gifts here, or as their loss. It leaves, these. It does not leak. We become negative value nature, positive value nature progression somewhere else. Earth loses its simultaneously distinct and non-distinct, temporary/lasting, unique role with the ability to make more positive or negative forever nature. Note the rest of Earth has no criminal foreign influences. That's the only reason humanity has caused negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures, also blamed on other causes, all the things themselves, all the negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures caused by this. where we have areas where there are a lot of shootings, a lot of predicate acts, a lot of criminal seriousness nature wrongdoing. That's because those areas are victims of what the branches are also victim predators of. We have sense of, in other words, if I ask, they're also evidence predators who have used it already and have valued using already identity thefts. They're pretending the right to lie, which is not the right to lie. In other words, they're keeping that criminally foreign influence. They're keeping the causative blame to other things other than themselves, like how the value streams that go into unions of each type, even police, that then goes into locals, nationals, internationals, gets invested. We're in value nature system markets positions, though, all forced tactical ulterior from this value progression perfect nature system. And each modern nation is blaming other things themselves, and having had that valuing that now because they're just still doing it. Effectively maintained as fact treatment nature, reactions and reactions to reactions, invested, incapable of defending that to all spots. See, each spot of the ground has a relationship to the identity of time being exploited, whereas in how our forever nature is being exploited. So we have things manifest with positions. The human system was being used criminally beyond it per a method beyond its discernment. And as a method, effectively, that made the Native Americans and made colonists A through Z blame other things other than themselves for the real causes of negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures. We've had shootings on streets and areas through time, and we have the identities of the law self-defended as value nature systems where they're pretending that's value because they have jobs, because they work. The negotiations they have with these natures of industries are within as a bridged constitution. And then that is effectively being maintained within as convictions that they can't pretend on the surface, but they're doing it anyway, but they're preventing free speech from demonstration of it. They're only letting opinions speak. So I'm not asking to make opinions here. I'm asking for a response to the recorded proofs of it, per their criminal uses of Facebook and the policing of Facebook and the policing of the Facebook of campuses and of their own campuses interbranch, and then their crime acts with databases, and then their crime acts and crime methods and crime natures with the fact treatments originally and still. Same way there were witch trials. Same way that was motivated by people pretending not to realize, pretending they're positive anyway, pretending they value education, things like that, as pseudo-positive natures. Free speech. Now one must teach. Follow mandated law. Because I'm not making opinions about Sandy Hook, Newtown. This is tied to the families like an O'Brien family. Recorded confessed involved with the police chief's family, with people from the Britain Superior Court, other courts in the background having stacked things sick with my name, pretended they perceived things because there were crime rolls with offensive evidence receptions, like pretending they have the integrity to look into things on and off CCSU, on and off other campuses of each age. Since before that, this maintains only let realized each industry criminally foreign influenced, delusions wrought, victim tortured, and even self-valued that torture, only let realized originally valued, still being valued, and valued blamed on other causes, things themselves, why it's valued. And that's those cells and how everyone's being blamed and forced to entertain pseudo-positive, fake care. You should be able to we need to be able to force them from the ground of fact-cheating nature racket tricks, of forging and switching names, of pretending they know people in the background because we walked near them, especially in courts. The one-way reports. These are sequence shifting predators with Connecticut, various natures of courts, not just especially New Britain Superior Court through time, crimes with databases and with other nations' police in ways that keeps them knaves, valuing that because they evaluate where they have negotiations with sanctions, with relationship to where and how originally still there were all these juxtaposed natures of criminal enterprises, internation, interstates, and all having been originally and still, all only let realize blame the causes of them on other things others than themselves, where and how this originally effectively maintained originally and still, all to roles, justifications, needs, and natures, blaming the real cause of negative value, nature, progression, and natures on other things. Vaccines. If you have Jim Crow laws even entertained, you're going to have negative value, nature, progressions, acts, and nature, especially because of the already entrenched maintenance to criminal foreign influence states and areas. The Quran is about how the states and areas are victim predators, not understanding how to counter nature of criminal foreign influences when it's talking about wrongdoers. How about, in other words, natures of liars as criminal insidiousness natures? In the beginning of the Quran, it's telling them to value non-believers more than that. But see, that's not what we have fake sides, fake, criminal uses of each of the religion to keep fake sides. And then when someone needs to use religious rights, say, I don't agree with that. We have psychology with other nations, like Russians and Americans. When they share worse than a spy den. They share the crime rolls with nations individually grouped together with psychology, where they drug people in courts leading up to cases. They torture people with that. They use that as a means to pretend to make and maintain differences with innocent and or with people guilty, also recorded with other natures of crime that are now their own, juxtaposed, pretended they're causes of it. We need to have the branches trained here. We need to have them demonstrated. Victim predators. Forgiveness was for this. They can't defend themselves and sustain free speech simultaneously with its inherent active and progressive needs. One way redeems. So when someone was asked to report crime acts regarding kids and regarding things tied to it, before they get to report any of those crime acts, the police forms, the interbranch make opinions with physical delusions and with lied to information and with sensibilities lying about the behavior of others, having done that in databases and preventing mandated law. In other words, they're obligated to give me the names of the judges in one sequence. But they can't do that because they're recorded involved with crimes of all natures, even with Trade Center investigators, and with the defendant, former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, and with them recorded through administrations preventing free speech. There's no law. There's no, and then torturing it not to say anything. Using Facebook, having used Facebook criminally by the police of it here and there in collusion through administrations, recorded with crime methods, nature's motivations, roles, leveraged against whoever wins presidencies. Because the natures of the identities of the law group together and progressively, together and individually, each branch, sickly criminally foreign influence, worse than criminally incompetent, regarding the identities of the ground being exploited. These are not means. We demonstrably have reported criminally foreign influence zoning laws and exploitation of that, designed to cause negative value nature progressions, acts of nature, with other things, but to be built by cities, linked to other things themselves. See if the zeros need help. Vaccines, how can you think? Prepare your souls. The guy who lives or leaves, it goes. Okay, I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight. Vaccines. YouTube.com/user/Romulus Wall. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It takes 1 second to sign up for YouTube. Press the little button, bottom right of the video. Thank you.